Sweet 16 for IPL 2022. Match 16 features two teams that have started this season particularly well. The Gujarat Titans, new franchise, have won 2 out of 2. The Punjab Kings are an exciting new team that have shown us that Liam Livingstone is a man to watch out for in the IPL. Should be a cracking contest when he will line up against the likes of Rashid Khan and Lockie Ferguson at the Brathwaite Stadium in just under half an hour from now. This is Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Time Out, powered by IQ 95G. Carlos Brathwaite will join us in a moment. Ravi Shastri is in studio with me. Last time Ravi was with me, we had a Rajasthan-Bangalore game and we started by saying this should be a good one, and it was a lovely one. Ravi said at the end of it, it was the best game of the tournament. You get the feeling today, Ravi, that today could be a good one too?
Yes, just seeing the way the matches are panning out, the way these two teams have played, I think this will be a good one. You know, and we've seen night matches in Mumbai where the pitch, has offered enough for the bowlers, which keeps the game tight and keeps you engaged right through the game. You're not sure which way the game is going. And if you notice in this IPL, as opposed to some of the other IPLs, is you cannot really predict because the simple reason is you're getting that 20-run over on a regular basis. 20, 22, 25, which would happen in previous IPLs, but not on a regular basis like this. So the game might be even Steven, and then suddenly one 25-run over or 22-run over, and the game is turned on its head. So who gives that 23-run over today? We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, we'll find out. It has been a tricky tournament to predict. We thought initially winning the toss is a huge advantage. Teams chasing would hold the edge. Suddenly, in the last 6 games, we saw 3 teams batting first and winning. Punjab was among them. Now that record's been set right by the teams chasing. They've won the last 3. So we'll see what happens today. Hardik Pandya has won the toss. Yes, Ravi?
No, I hope Cummins is not listening because he'll say, what, 23, 35? Man.
Yeah, 23, 35. Could someone even up that? Liam Livingstone would probably back himself to get, 40 of an over if he had the chance. He will have the chance today because the Punjab Kings are going to be batting first. Hardik Pandya has won another toss. Now, at the Brathwaite Stadium this season, afternoon game, Mumbai-Delhi, 177, not enough. Evening game, Chennai-Lucknow, 210, not enough. But then, Punjab and Livingstone happened against Chennai, 180, and that was plenty. So 180 is a winning score at the Brathwaite Stadium suddenly. Is this an advantage at the Brathwaite Stadium? Hardik says Duke could come in, but Punjab have shown you could still win batting first.
Any team that wins the toss will want to field. Yeah, but if you want to win the game, you got to get that 180. If you get that 180, you have a great chance of winning the contest. But you'll have to bat well. So now it's up to Punjab to get off to a good start and the heavy hitters come into play.
Speaking of heavy hitters, it's a very good evening to Carlos Brathwaite. He joins us now, and Liam Livingstone is the talk of the town in our part of the world after that last game. Carlos, I wonder what you have to say about him. He's got that one big innings early in the IPL. Does that set him up nicely for the rest of it?
I really hope so. He was a part of Rajasthan for a while and basically carrying drinks on minimum wage. But having had the 100 that he had last season, I had the opportunity to ask him, what does he contribute to the recent success? Because a lot of people would think he's an overnight sensation, but really and truly having been part of Rajasthan, I think for 3 years, PSL for another 2 or 3 years, and not really had a big role to play, but I'm sure he would have learned a lot from a lot of the senior players, and he would have developed as a person and matured a lot. And he did say, yes, he took a lot from training with these guys, learning from them, and now he feels as though he has the right ingredients to mix and add with his flair and his power. Anyone that can hit the ball the way he does, but also as technically sound as I think he is, he'll be a joy to watch and he'll be a draw card for sure.
We're looking forward to him. Let's bring up the numbers. The matchup that everyone's been talking about. Livingstone versus Rashid Khan. Sounds like Rashid Khan would have the wood over him. He has him over any batter in the world. But let's look at the numbers. Strike rate of 180 against Rashid Khan. 6 innings, 32 balls, 58 runs. Yes, 3 wins to the bowler, but a strike rate of 180. There's Lockie Ferguson in that too. But I wonder if this surprises you, Ravi. One player we finally found who strikes at over 180 against Rashid Khan. Would you take that?
Yes, because of the way he hits it. He chooses the right areas. When you look at when he has to attack Rashid, it'll be probably straight or, it'll be where he clears his front leg and tries to hit him between long on and deep mid wicket. And CCI is a ground for sixes. If you start timing it well in the beginning and get one off the blocks quickly, then with a player of his ability and power, that one could be 4 or 5 very quickly.
I wonder how much of that was in the 100. Rashid versus Livingston, that sort of strike rate. Carlos, any reason for that kind of success, which not a lot of batters manage? That strike rate against Rashid Khan is rare.
I think he backs himself against spin. So he isn't afraid to bat a few dots if need be. He has clear areas of where he wants to score. So if you look at it, if Rashid comes to full, he goes bang straight. And if he goes a bit, if he tugs it a bit, it's more cow corner between mid on and mid wicket, as opposed to a slog sweep and going directly across the line. And I think one other thing that he has in his armour is very important against spin, and I'm sure he would have used it against Rashid Khan a bit, is he rocks back and pulls very hard. So traditionally Rashid Khan would hit the hit, and then go a little wider, slide the ball back in, hit his stump with a slog sweep or an advised power shot. But if you are good enough to be able to rock back and capitalise on the balls that are short, hitting a hit, more defensive line and length, then I think you can get at him. Rashid has also improved a bit. His leg break is actually spinning a bit more, which is a whole different proposition than what we're accustomed to from Rashid Khan. So I think it'll be a good matchup. But so far, it looked like even Stevens for me. He got 3 dismissals, but when Livingston gets a hold of him, apparently he goes big.
Okay, it should be fun. Should be fun. If it lasts for any length of time, it should make for some serious viewing. But Punjab Kings are a serious team to watch out for. This power game that they've been playing will only be boosted by the fact that Johnny Bairstow makes his first appearance for the franchise now. He is the only change. Bhanuka Rajapaksa, in spite of the exciting start that he had, took down his compatriot Wanindu Hasaranga in the opening game against Bangalore, and also had a nice little cameo in the following game. Now sits out. Bairstow walks in, presumably Ravi at 3, with Shikhar and Mayank at the top. We know that Bairstow's been a successful opener, not just for England, but also in the IPL.
Yes, number 3. And, when you have a batting lineup like this, what you're seeing. To be honest, I don't mind losing the toss and batting first. Because this batting lineup is fully capable of getting that 180. And if they get off to a good start, then they've got the hitters, Livingston, Shah Rukh Khan, lower down the order. They've got Odean Smith as well. So there's enough firepower there to allow them to bat if they get off to a good start without any pressure of a target that they're chasing. So it's sometimes it's good for you when you have a lineup like this and you lose the toss.
Let's look at their starts, because they've made great starts in the early parts of the IPL. In the power play, no team's been as good as Punjab with bat. And what's interesting, Ravi, is that run rate of 10.9 is almost independent of how many wickets they might have lost. Now, how do you condition a side? If we just look at how they've gone, those are great power play scores, 72, 62, 63. They lost a couple of wickets, lost 3 in the game against Kolkata, got a decent score. I think they fell short on that one. But point remains, they're happy to play that power game. It doesn't matter if you lost wickets. How do you condition a team for that? It's one thing to pick the players, but there's a guy like Dhawan, who perhaps is in a different ODI mold. How do you condition a team to keep playing like this?
No, but once you tell them that this is your game plan, then they start looking for those shots from the outset. They might take 2 balls, 3 balls, but no longer than that. They'll probably, if there's something in the surface, maybe 10 balls. But then don't forget, there are 26 more balls in that power play. So you can really make up after seeing those initial deliveries. And if your mindset is such that you're looking for a target after evaluating the pitch, the 2 openers will know 50 or 60, and then they go for it.
Carlos, same question for you, especially for a lower order batter, for instance. You're always worried, would you be exposing Shah Rukh Khan or Odean Smith to more than 5-7 overs if it goes wrong? And to a degree, we could say it went wrong against Chennai, because they found themselves in a position where they limped their way to 180. They're still happy with that, but how does it change the way the lower order, the middle order approaches things when that's the sort of game plan that this power hitting side is going in with?
I think it needs to be a team culture, because you say you limp your way to 180. If you ask most teams on any surface if they take 180, I think the answer will be yes. So, one of the teams that we did the other day, they lost 3 wickets, but they were 40 for 3. That's kind of a half and half approach. you're losing wickets, taking risks, but you're really not going all in. But if you can be targeting 60 and don't mind if you lose 3 wickets, then it allows you number 5 and number 6 to get enough time to get in and still link the game to your Odean Smiths to finish. And likewise, you find that the more positive teams will limp to 180. You prefer that than limping to 130, 140 because you lose more games than you win if you only get 130. So I think the real challenge will come when they are 30 for 4. And then they probably, get out all out in the 19th over, making 125 or something like that. Can they believe in the team culture? And can they keep going and keep, backing that plan to go hard at the top, regardless of the wickets that fall, but aim for that 60 in the power play? That gets you off to a good start. And if you can do that, as we see, they've done it 2 to 3 times so far. If they can do that over the course of a season, 8, 9 times out of 14, you're pretty much guaranteed to be in the playoffs.
Are you noticing, Ravi, a trend where taking time or consuming balls and then after you've got your eye and looking to go big is almost harder for a batter, and it might be easier if he just goes hard from the beginning? We would traditionally say they need to see out, take a few balls, and then a batter can change from gears. We're seeing batters not necessarily convert a run a ball start and get a big sort of score. Are you noticing a change in trend?
Not really, but I'm seeing a change in trend with the pitches. The pitches are offering a lot more at the Wankhede than any of the other venues. So at Wankhede, your tactics have to be a little different.
Sure.
And the simple reason is a lot of players will want to go because that's their natural game. They want to hit it. But they're not allowed to because of the two paceness of the pitch. When a pitch is two pace, then it's not all that easy. The ball is sticking into the surface, at times a spongy bounce. So then it's not easy to commit yourself, unless the bowling is bad. That it's long hops or short deliveries which allow you to get runs off the back foot. But, at a ground like CCI, that might not be the case. If the ball is coming onto the bat, I see them going very quickly.
Now, we've seen 2 games. This will be a second for the Punjab Kings at the CCI. They've played one at D.Y. Patil. Now, Mayank Agarwal, somehow, in spite of having pretty good batting conditions and everyone else getting a few runs, has started this IPL rather quietly. Now, that would be a concern for the newly appointed captain of the Punjab Kings. Average of just over 12. Normally hits the ground running in the IPL. Ravi, now is this a result of just being captain? Is it still early days, or is it just him trying to play, like Carlos says, this team culture of going hard? Why is Mayank struggling?
I think combination of both. Yes, team culture of trying to go hard too quickly. He might be suffering because of that. But I see him getting runs, because with Mayank, when he gets in, he makes it count, and he's got all the shots. He's one of the few openers that plays spin extremely well. So, if he gets set, he can then carry on to get that big score because he will be relentless even against spin. And you can't say that of too many openers, who have the ability to play spin as well, because he can sweep, reverse sweep, go down the track. He's got an all-round game against spin as well.
Knowing the person, leadership, could it be a burden? Is it too early to say, or do you think this is someone who wouldn't care that he's captain, it wouldn't affect his batting?
I don't think it'll affect him too much because knowing Mayank, knowing his temperament, he's a calm customer. He's not really not that strung up type, so he'll be fine. It's just a case of him getting some runs.
All right. He's got Johnny Bairstow. I wonder if that makes a difference too. You've got Dhawan at the other end. Let's look at some of Bairstow's numbers, shall we? This is a success story from England in the IPL. There are players that come here and overseas players that struggle at the top of the order, struggle to play spin. No trouble for Johnny Bairstow, who averages over 40 as an opener. That dips to, it's acceptable 33.5 at number 4. He's going to be batting at 3. Carlos, fair to say he still brings a lot to this Punjab side?
Has been to have, I guess, 3 openers in the top. As with Rajasthan, probably even 4 openers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think that in itself allows whoever is at the crease a little bit more freedom to think, well, not necessarily you want to give your wicket away, but you're backing the team culture and knowing that the personnel behind you can also do the job. So for Mayank, he has that blanket of comfort knowing that a Johnny Bairstow, who's been successful for a number of years, not only international cricket, but in the IPL with some serious numbers, is coming behind. Same thing for Shikhar Dhawan. So no holes barred. We still play proper cricket shots. I don't think it's ever just swing at the first ball. You play proper cricket shots, but you always have that positive intent and you always choose the more positive option.
Mayank, Dhawan and Bairstow, that's 3 openers. Carlos makes the point. A lot of teams like to stack their teams with openers. So the Indian team, Ravi, they had to play the likes of Rohit, Kohli, Kishan, KL Rahul all together. Somewhere that becomes a question whether players have the gears to play in different situations. But do you like the idea of a T20 team having multiple openers?
If they can combat all bowling, especially spin. If you have an opener who struggles against spin, then I'll be thinking twice whether to play that opener in the 3 openers. But if they're good players of spin, as you have with these 3 here, they'll all smash it. Bairstow can smash spinners, on a given day. So there's no harm there, absolutely. And this side will be strengthened. Make no mistake about it with someone like Johnny Bairstow there. Carlos mentioned about the insurance, the blanket that is there for Mayank Agarwal. There'll be even more now, where instead of Rajesh Paksha, Bairstow is coming.
I remember that game in the World Cup in 2019 against India, the only game that India lost in that league phase. Bairstow playing the spinners at that time. It almost seemed to blow the spinners away. India changed their team combination after that. What were the reactions when he was taking down Kuldeep and Chahal, who had a great tournament up until then?
See, what they did very well was because we were playing at Edgbaston, if I'm not mistaken, yes. And there was a 45-yard boundary. And they made sure that they targeted that 45-yard boundary. It was the shortest boundary of the World Cup. Okay, so it's home advantage. I have no issues with that.
Bairstow wouldn't mind a CCI boundary then, a Brabourne Stadium boundary? Any bigger or significantly bigger?
Carlos would have parked one on the road there from that end.
Carlos has parked quite a few, I think, in his time. Should be fun this, because you do have a team which goes so hard and so well in the power play. But in front of them is a bowling attack that's been as miserly as you could hope for in the IPL in that power play. Gujarat Titans are better than most others when it comes to economy rate in this year's IPL. Rajasthan, we've already said, this is a strong bowling lineup. Ashwin, Chahal, before that bowled Prasidh Krishna. Gujarat Titans, Mohammad Shami, Hardik Pandya now with the new ball, Lockie Ferguson, maybe a bit of the spinners as well, have managed to go at just over 6. Hardik Pandya is bowling again. Carlos, he bowled with the new ball last time. He's backing himself to bowl 4 overs. That tells you something about where an all-rounder sees himself in terms of fitness?
Yeah, he's proven that he's fit enough. And I think a lot of the conversations that I've certainly been reading is around India's best 11, having Hardik Pandya batting at 6 and bowling 4 overs. And I think he's someone that would want to prove that he's ready to take the mantle on, take that role on. I do believe that Hardik Pandya brings a different dimension to the Indian team, especially with Dhoni gone. And this is your dry run. So as captain, he has the opportunity to bowl where he wants to bowl. Obviously, he'll do it for the betterment of the team, but he's able to set the team up and set the game up in a way that would allow for him to show the parts of his skill set that he wants to show the selectors and show the Indian public and even show to himself. Injury and long layoffs and in and out of the team, lack of rhythm, being able now to get a full IPL as captain, as leader, I'm sure he'll be relishing it. And the fact that he's putting himself in challenging situations as skipper, I think bodes well for Indian cricket. Not only he has the mentality for it, but he also wants to step up to the plate and not hide away behind stats. He wants to take the game forward, and he wants to be the person with ball in hand or bat in hand. Saw him back early in one of the games. So he's taking responsibility, and I think that's a big thing for Indian cricket to see a good, fit and firing Hardik Pandya.
Game 1 of the Titans, we were happy to see Hardik Pandya bowl 4. Game 2 of the Titans, we're seeing him bowl with the new ball. Ravi Shastri knows where I'm going with this next. Hardik Pandya, the new ball bowler in T20s. Is that something that could be something consistent even at the international level? Do you like the idea of it?
It just goes to show the space he's in. He's prepared to bowl with the new ball. He's prepared to bat at number 4. It tells you that he's fit. He's very clear in his mind that the space he's in now is a brilliant space. Right before this IPL, the question that was asked was, new captain, a lot of young captains, the word was KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant. Add Hardik Pandya. Don't take your eye off the ball there, guys. This guy can lead a side. He's got a good cricket brain. What I like about him now is his composure and his focus. You can see there is something between the years that has clicked that is making him focus in that fashion. And even the way he's marshalling his resources on the field, even when the heat is on, it's a very good sign.
How highly do you rate him as a communicator, someone with leadership qualities, someone whose tactical acumen is up there? How highly do you rate
Excellent. Excellent. If he's fully fit, excellent. I mean, you can compare him with anyone, any of the other three I mentioned. Any of the other three, if not better.
Strong words.
On the other stuff that you said, communicating and all that.
All right. And as an opening bowler, though, in T20I cricket, World Cup, well, he's bowling in Mumbai right now, but World Cup in Australia, genuine option of someone who could trouble international sides, batters with the new ball?
Not on
His
a regular.
bowling seems to have evolved.
Not on a regular basis. Depending on the surface, if the ball is seaming a bit or it's holding, then maybe, you can give him. You can always use him as a surprise weapon if he's fit. The good thing is if he's fully fit, he can bat anywhere, he can bowl anywhere for you, which is brilliant.
Let's look at Hardik Pandya, the batter. Since we're having this conversation, he's going to have a target in his mind now. So that probably makes his job easier. But we have seen Hardik Pandya walk in at 4. Wasim Jaffer on this show earlier said his concern is he's playing the number and not playing how he normally plays. That's when he's walked in the first game, got a lovely looking 33 of 28, and then he's got a 31 of 27. Now, the old Hardik Pandya, if we say he's faced 27, 28 balls, we're expecting nearly double those runs, Ravi. What do you make of Wasim's comment that he's perhaps playing the position and his role, and he should still play at number 4 the way he plays at number 6? You endorse that?
Not really. I like the way he's playing. I like the way he's approaching that number because, yes, if the score is 108 for no loss or 108 for 2, when he comes in with 6 overs to go, he will play not the number. He will play what is required for the team at that stage. But if you look at where he came to bat, when he came at number 4, they were 2 down for nothing. So he had to play the number, because to bring his team back on track, he's the captain of the side. With captain comes responsibility. So he had to do that, and as long as it's working and the team winning, it's good.
Carlos, when you make that adjustment, you're a number 6 batter who knows his job at the end. Suddenly you're at number 4. That adjustment, how does it work?
I think he's playing mature cricket. As Ravi said, if he gets the opportunity and he got a good platform, he comes in the 14th over, albeit at number 4. I don't expect to see 33 off 28. But that being said, I think it's a good platform and a good foundation for him. You get a couple 30s, you grind it out. With all due respect to him, that is not the strike rate we're accustomed to with Hardik Pandya. But he showed a different string to his bow. He showed that he can come in tough situations. He can ride out the tough period. He can grab back the momentum from the opposition. And then we know what he can do at the back end. I think if he can do this on a consistent basis, the game will come when he'll stride out in a tough situation. He'll play a few cover drives, a few pull shots along the ground. They'll run away for 4. All of a sudden, he's 20 off 10 without even risking. And then we get that 50 off 25, 50 off 20 without him even breaking a sweat. And I think the challenge that he may want to take up is scoring a T20 100. He can't really do it if he's batting at 6 and 7 and getting quick cameos. But if he bats at 4 and he really conquers that start, how do I make the most of my first 20 balls? You're thinking probably best 5, 10 balls at the back end. But with a longer time to bat, how can I make the most of my first 20 balls? And he's probably 20, 22, 25 off the first 20 now. There will be a game that he'll be 40, 45, and 50, and he'll go somewhere very close to scoring a T20 100. If you've got that sort of versatility and flexibility in a player that can motor on at the back end, I don't think you could ask for too many more.
Anything to add to that, Ravi?
No, absolutely, because he's got the technique. To when you come at number 4, you got obviously have the technique to counter movement, to counter seam, and the wickets have fallen early to soak in the pressure. So that's a string to his bow he's added and shown. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I always believed he had it. You know, but he's showing everyone now that he believes he has it, and you can see that he has it. And it's not beyond him. If he gets in early and bats out 19, 20 till the end, 70, 80, 90, even 100 on a given day is not far off.
Okay, is this the day today? Certainly the ground to get the runs, if recent trends are being observed from the 4 stadiums that we've seen. So let's see if he does get it. The Gujarat Titans team, in this great discussion that we're having of the Punjab Kings top order, Liam Livingston and Hardik Pandya, we just haven't brought up that they've made 2 changes, both forced by injury, says Hardik the captain. Sai Sudarshan of TNPL fame will get a slot at number 3 in the absence of Vijay Shankar from the same state, who has a bit of a back niggle. And we also have Darshan Nalkande, who was with the Punjab franchise previously without getting much opportunity. Played a handful of first-class and T20 games for Maharashtra. Comes in for Varun Aaron, also struggling with back spasms. So Nalkande and Sai Sudarshan, we'll see how they go. We will see a bit of Nalkande, you think. Let's get a first inning score from both Ravi Shastri and Carlos Brathwaite. Carlos, brought up the numbers a bit earlier. 210 wasn't enough at the Brabant. Then Punjab batted first and got 180 and defended it. What do they need today against this pretty good-looking Gujarat side?
They're going safe for now. 185.
185 is safe, all right? Okay, Ravi Shastri?
I agree, 180, around 180. You know, think 180 when you start. If the pitch is doing too much, settle for 160. If it's flat, then look for even 200 plus.
Did you ever, in all your time, see a pitch at the Brabant that does too much?
Not really, not as much as the Wankhede.
Yeah, so
not as much as the Wankhede.
180 is likely.
Yeah.
All right, let's see where Ravi Shastri and Carlos Brathwaite's predictions stand at half-time. Should make for a fascinating 20 overs. Rashid Khan, Lockie Ferguson, Mohammad Shami against the likes of Dhawan, Mayank, Bairstow, Livingston. Pick up the chat on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket Info T20 Timeout, powered by ICO 9 5G.